Okay, no idea if this is actually gonna record right because I got this loud ass fan behind me. But I had to ask the question. We can prove through history that history has changed. History is written by the victors, that's been proven. And history has been rewritten when it didn't fit whatever current regime is in power. Right? So if we can prove that history keeps getting rewritten, right? We know this for a fact. Because how else can you explain how the Greeks say the Egyptians were dead and jet black, Hebrews were burnt bronze, and yet somehow every depiction we get of them in modern times, they're all white. That's just one example. Or hell, how you can look. Nah, they don't look cool. You can look at, say, a presidency. The record of that president looked one way 4 years after they were president. 20 years later, they've rewritten the entire history. We find things all the time that has just been completely bulldozed over because it doesn't fit with the current narrative, right? So I ask you the question. We walk around and we blindly believe in these religions, these causes, these flags, these sayings. I'll give you another example. People have been shaking their behind since the beginning of time, right? They changed names. People knew it was still the same thing. All of a sudden, Miley Cyrus starts shaking what she hoped was a butt and was actually just a hip bone. All of a sudden, it's twerking and it's a brand new thing. Everybody was doing it just yesterday, and it came by many different names. But now this little white girl does it, and it's all brand new. No one was ever doing this before. They've got popping lock now, and some I don't know what they call it now. We called that jit when I was a kid, but now it's all brand new. People selling tapes to tell you how to do it. When you just watch the kid on the street do it and try to see if you can do what he was doing and add something to it. But now you pay for it. I mean, banks that existed when I was a kid, they still exist. They just have a new name. I was a member of National City Bank. It's called PNC now. Same bank, just changed the name. People forget that it was National City. That is, right? So I ask you the question. How can you believe that America is the same country it was, say, 300 years ago? How can you believe that, let's say, the same people that rule Russia now ruled Russia 100 years ago, 200 years ago? Because they didn't. History was rewritten. So why is it we hold to the beliefs that, certain things are just always the way they're going to be, always the way they were? It's not possible, especially something as old as some of the dogmas we believe. Religions. Human beings have been on Earth for, science says, probably hundreds of thousands of years. If nothing else, tens of thousands of years. Right? Accordingly, Egypt predates the Bible. Egypt predates the first book of the Bible. So, I had a discussion with a coworker. Said that, you need religion to teach you morals and values and such, right? Before the Bible existed, Egypt was already a major world power. It's already a major civilization, right? So civilization happened before the Bible was written down. So I asked the question: if we needed religion to tell us how to act and what to believe and right from wrong, right? How did civilizations exist before the Bible? Because Egypt predates it. Timbuktu certainly predates it because Timbuktu predates Egypt. The Kush probably predated, which is Ethiopians and probably any number of other tribes that used to consider themselves the same. That's just a couple of examples. Heck, there are tribes in South America that probably predate the Bible too. They don't exist anymore, but they probably predate the Bible. Native Americans. Now, to be fair, a lot of them migrated from, Africa through Asia, through Russia, through Alaska, and down into the Americas and down south, right? They predate the Bible. Somehow they seem to probably have a good grasp of right and wrong. So why do we need religion for this if we figured that out before religions existed? Before we even had the word religion? And I can't get anyone to answer me this question. Because I've been told by multiple people, not just conversation I've had it told to me quite a few times over the last few years, that religion is supposed to teach you morals and values and, right and wrong. I didn't learn it from religion. Neither did my grandmother, the person that raised me. I learned it from her. She learned it from her parents. So, if civilization predates the Bible that Christianity is written off of, also Islam predates Christianity. No, my fault. Christianity predates Islam. So Islam is the younger of the two. Catholicism, to me, I believe the modern versions of Christianity we have now all come from Catholicism. Alright? All these things happened long after Jesus was dead. And even in the time of Jesus, the Roman Empire existed. They set laws and rules and standards and laws we still use today. Mind you, they stole a lot of it from the Greeks, who stole it from Egyptians, who stole it from Persians. Persians stole it from, I think, Mesopotamians or Babylonians. I don't remember all of them. The Assyrians. There were multiple civilizations that existed before we had modern religion. All these people figured out right and wrong, figured out standards for themselves, figured out morals. So if mankind had figured that out before the invention of modern religion, right? Explain to me how we need religion to teach us something we figured out before we were given religion. This is one of my many questions. I'm starting to think I'm just here to ask the questions that no one with my skin color will ask because they're afraid, or because they just blindly believe something. You can't tell them anything different. Like, I had somebody explain to me that Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 are two different creation stories. Then when you look at, Cain leaving the garden and finding a wife amongst other peoples, that means the people in the garden, the people that he went to, are two separate peoples. So, how can Adam be the first man where there were other people on the earth already? Because Adam came about, I believe, in Genesis 2. So who was created in Genesis 1? Who? And I'm fairly certain that in the original version of that book, it probably told you who. But, yet again, you go back to, say, the Council of Nicaea and successive, dynasties that came before that. And civilizations that came before that. Do you really think this book has not been altered before? Do you really think this book is the same as it was originally? I don't buy that. It's gone through too many times where the Israelites, or whatever you want to call them at different points of the story, were conquered. Conquerors don't traditionally let you still have your own values. Or they start to make you congeal your values with theirs. The Persians, from what is said, they had a habit of, letting you keep your culture just as long as you ponied up your taxes to them and supported them when they wanted you to. And that's why the Greeks killed them. That's why the Greeks overran them. Because the Greeks didn't believe in that. They believed if you were conquered, you did what the fuck the conqueror told you to do. But just in general, when white people took us from Africa, we didn't get to keep our values. We didn't get to keep our culture. The white Jews that are over in Israel right now, they're not in the Bible. Those aren't real people. Those are someone else. You know what happened? They got rid of their old culture. Why? Because they wanted to steal someone else's and become someone else. Europeans, most of them cannot tell which European tribe they originally came from. Because there's been so much inbreeding between them. A German can't say, my family is, I don't know, descendant from the Visigoths. You can't rightly say that because at some point, a Visigoth in your family might have made it with a Frank from France. So you're half and half. Or heck, you might actually be Frankish and you've just been living in Germany all your life and for a couple of generations. That doesn't mean you're a Goth. It doesn't work that way. Your history got changed. You might be British. You might be, a Druid. Well, I don't know, because what the history says, Rome is kind of taxed on them. There were some that existed after that. Yeah. But just the same, you might be ethnically a Druid, or say from the Flanders region of France. But you think you're German. You think you're from a Germanic tribe, and you're not. Your history was rewritten. So why is it we blindly accept something and say, oh, well, the Bible is just as it always was, when the people who put the modern Bible together tells you it's not? Why? Because anything that didn't fit with what they wanted in there, they burned it as heresy. We have Dead Sea Scrolls. I haven't read them, but if they exist, then maybe there's parts of the story that are not in the book we're reading. There's more to it. Just asking the question because somebody has to. There's no changing of minds until somebody asks a question and somebody on the other end thinks about them. That's why I'm called the changing of minds. You don't have to believe what I believe. Hell, you won't know what I believe until I tell you. And regardless of what I believe, I'm still going to ask the question. Because the question needs to get asked. And that's our problem. No one asks these important questions. What is missing? What has been rewritten? We have evidence that it's happened. But everybody say, oh, no, it doesn't matter, Jesus is. Okay, how do you even know that the Jesus that's described in the Bible is what he really was? How many times have Christians been overran or a new dynasty came into power and they needed to legitimize themselves? Guess what? Your religion got to change to suit them. And they're going to change in kind to make you think that nothing actually changed. You got okie doked. And we've been having it through history. For all we know, Obama might not be the first black president. He just might be the first black president that the world would actually acknowledge. But we'll never know that. Why? History keeps getting rewritten. History is rewritten by those who have the power to write it. But as I said, you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe what I believe. You don't even have to entertain my crazy theories. Because in the end, all I'm doing is asking a question.